In the brutal podcast system, any jackass with a microphone and internet connection can pose as an expert on any topic under the sun. Fortunately, however, there exists a humble duo of said jackasses who at least aspire to minimize the effects of the current egregious level of aforementioned fake-ass horseshit and those who perpetrate it. This duo attempts this very noble task by allowing you, the listener, to have total unimpeded access to the real minutia of their pathetic everyday lives. This two-member task force is known deep within the podcast world as Zero Front. These are their stories.
Welcome back to another edition of Sean Matthews Podcast. I know it's been a minute. We meant to get back on at some time in November. We got kind of busy there. It was my birthday. It was Thanksgiving. There was stuff going on. Villanova basketball, the Knicks, life gets in the way, but we're back, and we're not going anywhere. Joe, how you doing today?
Well, it's Friday, and I have my health and have good friends like you. Well, not many good friends. We get a few good friends now and then, but I got a good friend like you and a fun show to do. And it's Dallas weekend, and I had my favorite fish dinner tonight. So I guess all in all, life is good, brother. What else is going on?
Today was my last day at my current job. I got another job, and I'm gonna be starting that soon. So I kind of been in that place for a little bit too long, and it was getting worse before it was getting better, and I just felt like I had to make a change. So pretty exciting stuff.
Turn and face the strain, baby. That's a good thing to do. Yeah, I know that you had expressed to me some frustration and this and that and some of the things you told me, and I'm not going to get into it, but it's good that when you get a situation like that, that you really shouldn't be in the first place, when you really think about it, it's good that you're moving on, and as the Bible says, to everything there is a season, brother. So congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's going on with the weather this year, but I'm actually hoping there's not much snow, because I don't want to miss work. I don't want to have to shovel. I don't want to have to drive through the snow. I want to be able to get places. When I was a kid, it was cool with snow and maybe you get off school. But now it's like, what's your opinion on that? Like, do you like wait for the snow? Do you even care? Or like,
I still love it, and I like the kind of snow that you get when they say, okay, everything's going to shut down for today or whatever it is. I don't like this little ridiculous 3/4 of an inch and then it's going to change over to rain, and kiss my ass with all that. I hate that shit. I hate it. And we have not had, Sean, I was thinking this the other day. I moved from one town and I moved into a building that I'm in now. And since I've been in this new building, this is my sixth year, I have yet to see a monster snowstorm. In the last 5 or 6 years around here. So I'm looking for one of those storms. I want two of them every winter. One of those storms that brings snow up to your knees. No, if it's 16 inches or 14 inches or whatever, more than a foot, but I like two of those every year. But all those little in-between garbage, slop, nothing storms that they're just a nuisance, that I don't like. But I do like twice a year, Sean. I like twice a winter. I like with a big storm, or everybody calls everybody, stay home today. And when that happens on a Friday or a Monday, boy, that's really cool. But yeah, I'm sort of the other way. And what's funny, Sean, is when I was a little kid, a kid growing up, 10, 11, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I used to absolutely love the summer. It was swimming. It was baseball. It was, I used to come into the air conditioning because we had central air. I used to come in and go, you people are crazy. It's freezing in here. I couldn't understand it. Now my body's completely different. That I can't live without air conditioning. I couldn't sleep without air conditioning. I could still go out and do stuff and, sweat and work and this kind of thing, but I need to get that cool air. And in the same way, the winter, when I was a little kid, I was like, I didn't like it. It's too, they didn't hate it, but it was like, oh God, I don't like that. I wish we could, now I'm just almost flip flop. My favorite part of the year is autumn. The leaves change. It's beautiful. You get that smell in the air. The grass changes. The smells are like football, we used to say. The grass smells like football in late August, early September. And this just starts to change. And I really like it. What's better than coming in? What's better than coming inside after being outside in the cold, and coming in and shaking off the cold and sinking into a warm chair, on a cold winter night? I just love it. I just love it. And so it just goes to show you, things you're crazy about as a youngster, it may be completely 180 degrees out of phase when you get older. But yeah, I don't mind the snowstorm. To answer your question, I don't mind the snowstorm. I actually look forward to it. But as long as it's not a little pain in the ass snowstorm, as long as it's real.
I just don't want to lose any money. Because sometimes they'll pay, and then sometimes, if you can't get to work. So, I got to pay the bills, and I don't know.
Well, I got a Grand Cherokee too. So, well, you got an SUV too. So, but I mean, I'll get to, if I need to get to.
Oh yeah, that's why I forgot about that. Yeah, ever since I've had an all-wheel drive vehicle, I haven't had to even use it in the snow, and I've had I've had since 2021 is when I started driving all-wheel drive, and I don't think I've actually had to drive to the snow yet. It's kind of interesting, but anyway, I digress. Over the break, I did something that I've always wanted to do. I've been thinking about it for years, just didn't know how to go about it. Didn't really have a great reason that was going to be interesting enough. I don't know. I was also nervous about it. But I'm a diehard Howard Stern show listener and supporter.
Yes.
I'll defend that guy to the death. I think he's brilliant. I think he's funny. I think he's witty. I think he's the best to ever do it on the radio, at least. He's got so much more to him than people think. He's not just a fart joke guy. He's not just, hot women and stuff. If you actually, listen to some of his interviews, you'll realize, okay, this guy's got depth and he's thinking about what he's saying. He does a lot of research. His staff probably feeds him information. He's synthesizing it, and he's somehow delivering these great long interviews. I think that's his biggest strength is his interviewing people. But anyway, to get back to my point, I'm a diehard listener. I admire Howard. He's one of my idols. I called into the show for the first time ever. I had no idea if I was going to get through. Like me and you, Joe, we talked about it. Like, how do I go about this? Do you think I have any chance of getting through?
Right.
Sure enough, the whole part, it's just the problem with the show. It's on at 7 a.m. And I don't always get up that early. And a lot of times I consume a show like a podcast. I'll consume the show, like as soon as the show is over, I'll wait for it to be put on the app, and then I'll listen to it like I consume a podcast. I'll put it on like 10 minutes at a time, 20 minutes at a time, a car ride, and I'll get through those 3 hours eventually, usually within 1 or 2 days. But and also I'm not really a morning person per se. So I didn't know how I was going to go about calling. Would I have energy? How the hell would I get through? Do I have to get up exactly at 7? And then I was on the fence about it. So I got up at 9:30. I actually had some energy. I got decent sleep for once. And I'm like, let me see if the Stern show's on. Let me see, it's still on. 9:30. It's Wednesday, because they're only on Monday to Wednesday. They're on Sirius XM radio. And I got up and I just heard that they were on. So then I just found the phone number and I called in. And then they answered, the call people answered. And I said, my topic is, I went to a music festival and wore an adult diaper, because Joe and we talked about it in the show. Obviously that was a funny little story.
Right.
But Howard always talks about how he's getting older. He's like 69 years old. He's turning 70 in January. But he always talks about how he's got bladder problems, and like he goes on walks with his wife and stuff, and he has to he has to stop and pee sometimes, but he refuses to wear a diaper, even though if you can't really hold it that long. See, I don't have the same problem as him. I can hold it.
Right.
But the problem with the festival, which I discussed, was it's going to be in the same space for 8 hours straight. I'm going to be there 2 days in a row, all day. And I'm going to be I can't really move, and I want to enjoy the show and see the music. So that's why I decided to wear the adult diaper, just for that special occasion, because I paid good money anyway. Not to harp on that. But anyway, that's what I call it.
Well, no, I just want to say, having been to a concert like with you when we went to Bruce, I can't imagine having to go back and forth to that bathroom even once, let alone 2 or 3 times. So I was just fortunate. When I drink Red Bull, I get nice and dehydrated, and that may be my strategy moving forward, because I didn't have to go. I went once before the show and that was it. But You go
Yeah.
ahead, proceed.
Yes. So they answered the phone. They had the Stern show, and I said, told them about the adult diaper, I told them about the festival, put me on hold. And while you're on hold, you hear the show. And I was wearing my AirPods Pro because sometimes you tell me my regular AirPods you can't hear me that well, so I put on the Pros. Um, but what I learned is I probably should have listening to it. I'll get to it in a little bit, but listening back to it, I probably should have just gone with just my ear against the phone, old school. But I didn't know how long I was going to be on hold, and
Right.
if I don't want to actually, I get nervous. I'm like, what if my ear accidentally hits the red hang up button, the disconnect button on the phone
Right.
while I'm talking to fucking Howard Stern, my hero.
All right.
I'm like, what if my ear bumps into that red button? I don't want to. Let me just put these AirPod Pros in. Let me not even be close to where that red button is. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then literally I was on hold for 5 minutes, and the show usually ends around 10:30. And around 9:40 or something like that. This is early November. The show it was November 8th. November 8th on Sirius XM radio on a station. So it's out there. You could find it and listen to it. But he picked up. He said Sean, and then I got disconnected. I said, hey, can you hear me? And then I just kept hearing on the radio, like, because you can't tell if he goes from the radio because you're listening to the live show on the phone. So if he just all of a sudden cuts in and starts talking to you, you're like, wait, am I listening to the show? Or like, so you have to really be paying attention. And he cut in. He said that nothing happened. Then he picked up some other caller. So I think what happened was I got all nervous. I'm like, oh my god, he picked up on me because he said Sean, but I didn't get through, or something happened. It wasn't the proper connection. Like someone messed up in the back of his office. The producer.
Well, you did get through.
But my point is, I got through, but I was on hold. But my point is, he tried to get me before you heard what you heard, because Joe, you heard the whole recording. He had said my name 5 minutes prior to that. He tried to get me, unless there was another Sean on hold, he tried to get me on air. But it didn't, like I said, I started talking. You couldn't hear me. Something got disconnected. Someone messed up. Anyway, so he picked up another caller. He got pissed off at the caller, as he does a lot of callers. If they piss him off, that's another thing which I've been nervous about. Like, this guy's my hero. I don't want to call in and be super nervous and fuck up here. And he's going to think I'm a moron. Then he's going to make fun of me. And then it's going to well, he's still my hero and I love the show. But the fact that this guy made fun of me is one of those things. I don't know if I want to listen as much as
you don't know if you could rebound from that.
I don't know if I could rebound. Like, man, he really hurt my feelings there. I was just calling in and just being honest.
But so basically, you got
story short, he all of a sudden he said like something like, hey there, Sean, you there? Or something like that. And he's like, and then when I heard him, I said hello. But I guess there's a little delay. And then he's like, there's a little pause, like, this is, and then he's like, Sean. And then I was like, Howard, how's it going? And then I didn't say you're my hero, long time, first time. That means long time listener, first time caller. And I didn't say, hey now, or Baba Booey. I didn't get into any shtick. I just got right into business. Right. And you heard the call, Joe. You thought I did, but you thought I did better than expected, which made me happy. I didn't know if I talked too fast. It was early in the morning. I was half awake. My coffee hadn't even kicked in yet. And it was like, damn, I'm not even awake. And I'm talking to one of my heroes. It's just way too early, and I don't want to. No, it almost like I went on cruise control. I could barely remember the phone call. Like it's like that just happened. Like it was so. I was on adrenaline for those.
It was surreal to you. Yeah. But what I could just say is that I think it took a lot of guts for you to call. Now, one thing I did point out to you is that one of the reasons you got through so quickly is this isn't 1993 anymore. So it's, things have changed a little bit, but Howard Stern is he's still a pillar in the radio industry and so forth. He's a big giant. He's a giant. But you were calling him. I applaud your honesty. Because you did wear an adult, garment for reasons that were intelligent, strategic, and I think it was very smart on your part. I even entertained the idea, if you and I should happen to go to any concert like that again, just to wear one just in case. But anyway, I digress. When I think about this, I remember it took courage on your part to talk about this. You're talking about with a man who has these kind of problems. And I think he was very interested in what you had to say. When I heard you on the Stern show, I stopped for a second. I'm like, oh, come on, Sean, come on, like rooting for you, because I know how how highly regarded this fellow is in your eye, and a lot of people's eyes, but I know especially you. I know. So I know you're sitting there talking to, it would be like almost like me talking to Mick Jagger or something crazy like. So you're talking to one of your idols, and it's early in the morning, and you're talking about an issue that isn't always easily discussed, albeit you're talking to a guy that has that kind of problem. So it's fertile soil for one to maybe slip up. And I just thought, I heard your voice and I'm like, he sounds slightly different. That's must because he's still at like half, we sound a little different when we first wake up. We all do. I mean, I sound it's so I said, oh, it's probably it. And I was just like, Shawnee, whatever you do, just watch your pace. Watch your pace, because you're in high gear a lot. And I said, just don't go quickly. Just don't get so excited and your pace was really nice. And I'm like, okay. Then there was one moment. When you were talking about it, and Robin said, you said what you did and what you wore, right? And why. Your rationale was sound. But Robin's question was, well, why would you tell everybody, though? That was her. Why would you tell everybody? And you kind of didn't hear it or whatever, and you were kind of talking. And then Howard called you on it, and he says, well, like Robin said, why would you tell everybody? And then you didn't hesitate for a second. You went right at it and said, well, I just thought this and that, and I thought it might be a good idea for a podcast. And you could hear Howard Stern going, yeah. I heard him going, huh? Just the minute you said, because it would probably be a good idea. So not only did you not hesitate, you came right back with a response, and a response that made a lot of sense. And you wrapped that thing up. I was like, it's a grand slam, because I was afraid you were going to get out in front of yourself or maybe get a little. And I thought at that moment, at that juncture, when they double cornered you with, why did you tell everybody? You didn't go, bam, you said, well, because, I was talking with my partner and we thought this and that. And we thought it would be a good idea for a podcast and so forth. And I thought, I really did. And listen, I'm not blowing smoke. You know that. I mean, if you know me, and if there were even one little thing, I'd say it was all great, Shawnee, except for this year. There was nothing there. And I'm glad, because I was sitting there rooting for you the whole time. Yeah, no, and I was proud of you. I absolutely was.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, because the thing about I sent it to my dad, and he texted me back OMG in capital letters, because I thought he was like, oh, I embarrassed myself, but his OMG was, you went 3 times, because they got that out of me too. Like, Robin was like, did you actually have to use it? And that type of thing. And I said, yeah, I used it about 3 times. I went 2 separate days, 2 separate diapers, and each day about 3 separate times for not that long. And held the liquid fine. Howard was being funny about it. I didn't realize he was making I guess this is where one of my regrets in the phone call was when he said, did you have that dopey look on your face when you were peeing? And I could have leaned into it and said something really funny back to him.
Right.
But my instinct reaction was just to say, no, like, it was just like, I was just like, no, not at all. Like, but I look back, because I know he's a comedic genius and stuff, and he appreciates all the humor. I'm looking back at that saying, I could have said something something really quick and clever about me having a dopey look in my face.
That would have been, yeah, but you were all along, you were steady and solid and serious. Like you said, you jumped right in without trying to do all that shit. So, I mean, I would think for your place there that and you didn't want to fumble the ball at the 2-yard line, dude. You know what I mean?
And I'm thinking too, I have a lot of other things I want to talk to him about. I do want to call in again at some point. And the cool thing is, I could kind of reference that, like, I'm the caller who called about the adult diaper recently, and it might give me some sort of advantage to get through, instead of me just saying, oh, I want to talk to Howard about this movie, or I want to talk to Howard about this new type of food, or
I think it would.
It's just like, who are you? You're like, well, I say my name. They can't put 2 and 2 together, right? Mm-hmm. So it's what happens over the years is he has like a repeat callers, and he gives people, like, you learn who some of the callers are. Like, some of them are kind of goofy, and like there's this guy Bobo who's been called. He's a really goofy guy. He's easy to make fun of. He's an easy target, and he does a lot of material for the show. But Howard just busts his balls constantly. But Bobo calls in about every show. I wouldn't say every show, but then there's Marianne from Brooklyn. She's obsessed with this guy. Like, she has visceral reactions just saying his name, and she talks to him every day. She talks to him on the show, and She's screaming. She can't control herself. And it's not really an act either. But anyway, my point is those are the extreme callers. Then you have the normal callers that he's like, oh, that this person from Maine, this type of thing. And I'm just thinking, man, if I could just develop some sort of rapport, but I really want to ask him about when I call again, honestly, is if he was in my position, because he always makes fun of people doing podcasts and everyone has a podcast, everyone with a microphone could do their own show now. I'd like to say, what would you do? Would you go for the radio stations? Would you try to apply and start to do the same thing you did to get where you are? Or would you say, fuck it, there's no FCC, the internet exists, I can get this to the whole world, I'll figure out smart ways to advertise, and I could talk about whatever the fuck I want on my show. I can curse, I can burp,
Right.
And I can really do this. But it's tough to meet the right people. Like the way he met his whole staff with Robin and Fred and Gary was so organic, to the point where he had to be in that environment to meet those random people who you would never ever meet. If he had started his podcast today and put an ad in the paper or ad in the internet, hey, I need a podcast team. I need a team of people. How do you get people to work for free? Number one, if you don't have money to pay them. And how do you go about getting your show out there? What's that method of advertising, and how aggressive are you on social media and stuff? So I love to pick his brain on that. If he ever wants to talk like off the air, like I just could like pick his brain. I'd love to hear what would you do? Because that could be kind of boring for the listeners. I'd be like, well, it could be interesting because he talks about his career in radio. I don't want to just make this whole Howard Stern show. We got a lot to talk about, Joe.
Right.
Especially the Eagles Cowboys game.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the call was cool. It's on the SiriusXM app. It's from November 8th. It's toward the end of the show, the last half an hour. And I spoke to my hero, and it was cool.
And I was not bullshitting you at all. I was rooting for you. I was staring with my fingers. When the first time I heard I knew it was a recording, but it was the first time I heard it. It was later that day. And I got my fingers crossed. I'm like, Shawnee, just keep it. And your tone, your voice sounded a little different because again, that was weird. you were just had just woken up, right? Which is typical. And so it wasn't a bad thing at all. It was just different. And your speed though was slower. And it was just right. It was just right because I didn't want you to get out ahead of yourself. Because sometimes when you get really excited, you're already in fifth gear. Sometimes when you get excited, and I thought that could be enough to excite you. You're talking to Howard Stern, but no, you kept it. And I think being early in the morning and being tired was almost an advantage to you. But I was happy for you and proud of you. So
yeah, thanks, man.
Cool beans. Yep.
All right, so let's talk about Cowboys Eagles game. And I kind of also throughout this break, officially, let me look at the calendar. When did the Eagles play the Bills? Was that
2 weeks ago, I think?
Let me think. So last Sunday was December 3rd. Sunday before that was December 26th. Is that right? Or no, November 26th. Hold on.
Yeah.
Because this is my first. I'll tell you what the hell happened, but hold on. They played
November. You've got Sunday.
Sunday, November 26th. They beat the Bills. The Eagles beat the Bills 37-34.
Right.
But before that game, and that the day before, well, that was the Sunday was the first official day. I adopted and switched to a new football team because I've been a Dallas Cowboy fan my whole life, but it's because I was born into it. My dad made me one because he's a Cowboys fan. I never had a choice.
Right.
I have friends growing up and people in school with all their Giants, Jets, and Eagles gear on and stuff. And I've been thinking to myself, what the fuck? I got to wear this Cowboys stuff and they're going to bust my balls, ask me why I'm a Cowboys fan. They're going to say I'm a front runner because when I was little, they were very good. They had Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, you
were a toddler. Right.
Yeah.
So,
So I was literally dressed in Cowboys gear as a baby.
Yeah.
So I had no choice, but I always thought to myself, I don't know, this doesn't feel right, man. I don't know. It's like the Cowboys are cool, I guess. They have the star, but they play in Texas and I live in New Jersey.
There you go. That's a good start.
They don't, and it's like, but your dad is like your hero, and like you just want to you want to do some things that he does, and he brings it. Like he used to bring me to the games and stuff, and like we used to watch it on TV. But it's like we bonded over the Cowboys, but it's been going on for like the past. I would say like since I was at Villanova, I went to school at Villanova, and that's in Philly. There's a lot of Philly fans there, and I got to know some Eagles fans, and they seem like cool people, good fans, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of, and I would wear a Cowboys jersey. One time I was wearing a Tony Romo jersey around campus, and some girl said something to me, but she was also a Cowboys fan. But no one really busted my balls. That the people in the guys in my fraternity would bust my balls that I was a Cowboys fan. It was really annoying, but not about having my balls busted. I just don't have a real connection to the Cowboys. I've been to a game there. It was cool. The new stadium was cool. They beat the Eagles actually, but I've been, kind of like the Eagles made the Super Bowl. I was rooting for them the whole playoffs. I was rooting for Foles. I was rooting for them versus the Patriots, and I was like, I should be rooting for the Eagles. I'm a Cowboys fan. It's like sacrilegious to root for the Eagles, the Giants, or the Redskins, now called the Commanders. But I found myself cheering for that Eagles team secretly. And I was like, oh, this is wrong. I'm a Cowboys fan. They never wanted to win a Super Bowl before that. So I should never want anything good to happen to them. And then the past couple of years, I've been watching how the team's growing, how the organization's working. And I got some Eagles fans who I know and stuff. And like I said, I went to school in Villanova, and the local Eagle stations were on TV. Plus where I live now, the local Eagle stations are on TV here too. So my point is, I've kind of been gravitating. I like Jalen Hurts a lot. I like the current roster. I like the player. I like AJ Brown. I like Devonta Smith. I like Jason Kelsey. Those type of dudes, man. It's a cool team. I like the jerseys. I like the colors. I like the stadium.
And
So
I gotta say,
this is my long way of saying. My long way of saying. I'm not. My first official day as before the game started. This is my first official day as a Eagles fan. So I'm now an Eagles fan, and they happened to have a tough game that day, but they won in overtime. It was a hell of a game. Jalen Hurts, walked it off. It was a walk-off touchdown in overtime.
Buffalo.
But I don't want people come chirping at me saying, "Oh, you're switching the Cowboys." The Cowboys are freaking good. They might be better than the Eagles. They might be better than the Eagles. And it's not like the Cowboys are horrible and I'm just like jumping ship. I live in the area. I have an allegiance to Philadelphia with certain things. I went to school there. I like their organization a lot better. Jerry Jones pisses me the fuck off. He is just constantly making horrible decisions for the organization. He needs to hire the right people. Stop with all the nepotism and all that stuff. And it's just so frustrating. I don't really like Dak Prescott that much. He's just like, eh. And I'm not really connected. CeeDee Lamb's cool, but like CeeDee Lamb, I don't know. And then the Pollard, I don't have a strong connection like I did with all those when I was a kid with all those players and stuff. That era is over. So I don't plan on switching teams ever again. I'm an Eagles fan for life. So now I'm an Eagles fan. So.
And I just want to say, and you could tell, and I just want to I had absolutely nothing to do with this change in your part. You came to me one night in a conversation and said, you know what?
This is probably like September.
You told me that, you're thinking of really changing over, becoming it. I thought you were kidding. And you said, no, I'm serious. And I started listening to him like, this Joker's like, for real. He said, okay. And I just said, okay. I said, man, and you asked me what I thought of it. Like you were looking for my endorse. I said, listen, to me, it's an important thing and it's a serious thing. And I said, I can't tell you one way or the other. I can't, and I didn't, Shawnee, I didn't dissuade you or persuade you, right? I didn't need, I said, that's got to be your decision. That's got to be your decision. And whatever you decide, and I didn't even really discuss it with you after that because I didn't want you to think I was trying to lean you one way or the other. And you came to it in your full, and when you were absolutely cutting it in stone, you told me. And I said, good, welcome aboard. I mean, I guess there's more rationale for you being born in Jersey, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Central Jersey, so you have to remember that's
equal. It's Jersey, though.
That's equidistant from Philadelphia and New York City, so they're both about an hour away. So it's not like I'm like way up north where there's all Giant fans and I'm in Giant and Jets territory. Literally, I saw many Eagles fans growing up, and I'll admit I saw more Giants fans, mostly Giants fans. Like my best friend Matt, he grew up a Giants fan because his whole family's in Jersey. His dad's a Giants fan, but he moved to South Carolina, and he's now a Carolina Panthers fan because that's the team there.
Oh my
so
God.
He switched from the Giants to the Panthers just because he moved.
Yeah, see that I like Matt and all, but that's wrong.
No. I think that's a good decision by him. If he's still kind of roots the Giants here and there because I feel like his dad's a fan, but also his brother's always been a Carolina Panthers fan. It's not like his brother. They've been going on vacation to Myrtle Beach their whole lives.
Okay. Now something's
brother,
different. Now it's different.
yeah,
Okay.
that's what
There's
I'm
some
saying.
experience
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So
Right.
his brother's a huge Panthers fan. So Matt was like, yeah, my brother's he's
That's different.
so he's got his brother. He lives in the area. He's been going there his whole life. He's basically like from there in the summer.
Shawnee, when I first asked you, I asked you when I was working with you, and it was way back in the day, and I said, just tell me one fucking thing. How in the world does a kid from North Jersey become a Dallas Cowboy? Just tell me how that happens. And I was serious, but I wasn't that emphatic, but I said, no, Sean, just tell me, how did that happen? And you said, oh, it was my pop. I said, okay. That's what you got to say, because I understand that if someone's a fan because their pop was or this or that, but it's these Dallas Cowboy fans that you meet and you say they're a Cowboy fan. You say, okay, oh, do you've ever lived in Texas? No, but my grandmother did. Okay, that's cool. I could relate something like that. Or no, I went to school there though for a while, or whatever. But when you say to somebody, okay, so you're a Dallas Cowboy, oh, so you got some kind of connection to Texas, and
I
they
know.
look at
I've been dealing with
no,
that my whole life.
no. It's what happened was they were on TV a lot,
Yeah, they
and
were.
my team sucked. So I needed a team to root for, and because they were on TV a lot,
That's one.
I said they were my team. But guess what? They're not, because
Yeah,
you live. That's all. That's all. That's the thing that irritated the shit out of me when I would meet people. Is like, do you have a valid reason? And I
yeah.
don't care if it's your uncle Steve's great grandmother's cousin lived in Texas and you used to visit them once every 3 years. Okay, something, but not just no reason. Like I don't know. They were on TV anyway. You go ahead.
Yeah. So, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So that's one thing about the Cowboys. That's one advantage you have as a fan of the Cowboys is they're on TV an awful lot. Even if they're from Texas, they're on TV more than like most random. They're on TV more than the Raider. Well, the Raiders are a marquee franchise, but a lot of other franchises like the Panthers, for example, um,
Well,
the Panthers, the Texans. Think of like the Seahawks. The Cowboys seem to be on national television more.
right,
Like
because
they feature them more.
in
So
that in that
people
era,
are
the
seeing
Tom Landry era, in that
people
era,
are see-
Sean,
yeah,
people jumped on.
people are seeing them. But it's one of those things, man. I have so much pride in being an Eagles fan. I already feel so much pride just by like this feels like you said. This is like finding a glove that fits, right?
Yeah, yep. There's a car commercial, and the guy says, "I've always been your car dealer. You just didn't know it." Well, guess what, Sean? We've always been your team. You just didn't know it. You know
I
what I
kid
mean?
you not, Joe. If the Cowboys win the Super Bowl this year, I am not going to be like, oh yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan. I'll take that back. No, this is for life. So
That's why I told you
locked in,
before you
man.
decide. You really got to decide, because you shouldn't dick around with things like this. You should. And I thought you were serious about it, and I didn't want to sway you
It will be
at all.
official
Because
once I
some
find.
jokers might say, "Oh, that's Joey. He did." No, sir. I had nothing to. You came to me with it. I had no. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, "Oh, really? Okay." But go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
you know.
man. So anyway, the game. There's a big game. It's funny. That's why part of the reason to. There's a lot of stuff to announce on tonight's show. The new job, Howard Stern call, and becoming an Eagles fan.
Yeah,
Because
those are big
I
things,
wonder
man.
how many Eagles fans you meet made the conversion and what were their reasons. You know what I mean?
Oh, how many Eagles fans came from other yeah.
Cowboys specifically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure. And I'm sure you have it the other way too. I mean, it's weird stuff. And my whole thing is though, I mean, you got to have some kind of a rationale other than, well, my home team sucked, so I kicked them by the curb and left them dead on the side of the road, and I established a false connection to this team because they're on TV a lot, so that's me. Nah, don't work that way, brah. It's where you live. It's where you're from, within 150 to 200 miles or so. After that, you're on your own. Now, you were not that far from Philadelphia. You were less than 200 miles. You were in this area. And whether you were Giants or Eagles fan, that's your sports DNA. That's where you're from. So that's where I am with that.
Yeah. Did we
But
talk about?
that being said, we might get beat again this week, because we're for the second week in a row, Sean. I don't mean to cut you off, but we just look. we got tired. We've been running the gauntlet. We had to beat the Cowboys. Then we had to beat the Chiefs. Then we had to beat the Buffalo Bills in overtime. And last week we got to play a team that's really, really damn solid and good. And not only that, they're coming off 10 days rest after we're dragging our ass trying to just, patch it together with spit and bubble gum. We're so beat up. And
Well, I
now
don't
we got
want
to
to
play a
forget this.
team that's got 10 days rest. So we lost last week. All right. By that second half, you could see fatigue setting in. This is a good group we're going up against, like in Dallas, and I'm not saying we're not going to lose. I would think the Eagles that I know were going to come back nicely, and I think they could win the damn game, but I don't know. I'm just really nervous about it.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about it more in a second, but I don't want to forget about this because since last time we did the show, I think we talked, I don't know, we didn't ever talk about that movie, the Giamatti movie we saw, The Holdovers.
Yeah, we
I
could
don't
talk
think
about that.
we'll circle back to the Eagles maybe, but The Holdovers, dude, this was a movie with Giamatti. I thought this movie was excellent, man. We saw it, and then we got excellent cheesesteaks from this great cheesesteak place in Lawrenceville, New Jersey called Meathead's Cheesesteak.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So the movie was good. And Joe, what would you rate that movie out of 10, including decimals?
8.5.
Well, that's pretty high. I'm right there with you, man. I thought I give it 8.6.
Yeah.
I thought Giamatti was excellent. I thought the actor who played that punk kid, the punk student, he was a really good actor.
You know what? This is his first job, his first acting job.
Is it?
Because I saw him on a talk show, on one of the local talk shows here. That's kid. He's from Ocean City or somewhere like that, Sean. You could look it up. But he said this is his first gig, and how like in all he was like with Giamatti and everything. Yeah. He's from down the shore somewhere. I can't remember exactly where. I'm saying Ocean City. It could be, but yeah, I thought that kid was really, really good, and he's going to really be something if this was his first like real gig. But the movie itself, I thought was pretty neat. I really did.
And how about the cheesesteaks, man? That was.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I don't know. I've. It might be the best cheesesteak I ever had. I'm not. Now, I'm not saying the fries are. The fries were fries. To me, Five Guys fries is unbelievable.
Well, you got the cheese fries. Clarify, yeah.
Yeah, I got cheese fries, but the fry itself. Let me finish. The fry itself, regardless of the cheese, was okay. It was just okay. But I'm going to tell you, the cheesesteak, Shawnee, I'm not kidding you. That might have been the best cheesesteak I've ever had, and I've had a few. Yeah, no, that was awesome. That cheesesteak is awesome.
So, you also got the milkshake. What'd you get? What'd you get? A vanilla?
Yeah. And listen, why do you think vanilla? If it's a vanilla, why do you think vanilla? Because vanilla is it's so good. That's why it's so popular. It says, "Oh, it's vanilla." It's vanilla. It's not a negative thing.
Your recent cheat meals have been a lot of Taco Bell, and let me ask you a question. This is a serious question, Joe. Why haven't you tried the nacho fries?
What?
Why haven't you tried the nacho fries from Taco Bell yet?
Here you go. Why haven't I tried it? Because when I go to Taco Bell, I like to get what I can get. I like to get, my set menu, right? And I get what I get, and it's just perfect. It fills me up just right. Saves myself a little bit of room for dessert for a couple of big chocolate chip cookies from Wawa. So it's perfect volume-wise, and I really enjoy it. So if in order to get those fries that you keep to, because every once in a while I say, let me just shut this joker up and get these things. But I get to the counter. I'm like, fuck that. I'm not getting any fries. I'm getting so if I get the fries, Sean, that means I got to do one less taco. So I substitute the fries for a taco. Is that going to fill me up enough? Or my other choice is just to add them on to the end. And that may be a little too much. I don't know. So that's my rationale. And I'm going to tell you, sooner or later I might, but it's like, here's the difference between the two of us. I'll say to you, hey man, if you ever get a chance, man, try the burger from over here or there if you get a chance. It's good, man. I had one tonight and it was knocked out. and then I'm done. I forget I even said it to you. I just said, hey, if you get it, you suggest something, okay? And then 3 days later, you want a 4-page dissertation in detail about why you liked them, what would you rate them, and this and that. Like, whoa, we're still in. I didn't even eat the goddamn. Listen, chill out, cuz. And not only that, but you seem to, and you get bent out of shape. You're like, and this is the thanks I
It's
get
almost
for
like
suggesting this to you.
I take
You
it,
you, you take it way more personally.
I
I
take it
because
as like it's almost like a scientist. I'm like, damn, it only costs $2.50. It's
yeah,
I know the guy's got
it's
a
not
big
the money.
I
It's
know the
not the
guy.
money.
I know the guy's got a big appetite. He knows. He knows I'm a little bit quirky with some of these things. And I just want my friend to enjoy these nacho fries and just want to hear his
Yeah.
opinion. So it's not it's one of those things. I guess you'll try them eventually.
I will. I absolutely will. But if it were the other way around, if I were you, I would have forgotten I even said anything. But it's like, yeah, I had to talk to you one day for 5 or 10 minutes to really explain to you that you shouldn't take it personally because I'm just not that kind of cat. I'll get to it. Maybe I'll get to it or whatever. But when I suggest something to you, it's like, I don't give a fuck whether you try it or not. At the end of the day, I don't. It's like, I'll say
Have
it
you
to you.
ever
Say,
seen?
hey, if you ever try these crackers from ShopRite, they're really, really good. And it's not, and then I'll forget about it. I don't come to you 3 days later and say, all right, so on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think those whoa,
Yeah.
slow down. That's all. We're
Um,
just different in that way, bro.
you watch the Jimmy Kimmel Live show a lot, right?
Never. No, I'm just fucking with you. Go ahead. I do watch Jimmy Kimmel.
So
I
have
do.
you ever seen one of the funniest segments that they do when they go on the street and like interview random people and play games with them?
Yeah.
This one where you have to pick out they have three separate people. They show them up close and they ask them random questions. You have to pick out who the high one is. Who's high? You ever seen that one?
Yes,
That's funny, man.
that is. And I'll tell you, it's not always as easy as you think. Sometimes it's glaring, no pun intended, but sometimes it's hard to discern, you know? And these days, everybody, not everybody, but so much more. I mean, and people are, listen, I'm going to say about 65 to 70% of the population, maybe, the adult population, more than half, certainly more than half, partake, especially now that it's legal and everything else. So it's, my point is that they may have a guy out there in a business suit. They may have a grandmother, and then they may have a dude that's in his 20s with his hair down to his shoulders. Doesn't mean he's going to be the one that's high, brah. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to discern sometimes, but yeah.
Yeah, man. So I gotta admit, Saturday, I'm happy SNL's back, Saturday Night Live, but I don't know, man. It's not as funny as it. I don't know. Like sometimes it's a hit or miss, but this week should be good because Adam Driver is hosting, and Olivia Rodrigo is the musical guest. So I don't know, man. I think they have a lot of potential for this week. It's like, what are they going to focus on? What topics do they want to lock into? Because I know you said you really enjoy Weekend Update. What have you been thinking about the Weekend Update lately? What do you think about the characters they have, like the random characters that they have, like during their skit, during in between their news?
I don't know. I think I saw one last week. Was it a cigarette or something? A talking. I
Oh
forget what
yeah,
the
yeah,
hell it
yeah,
was.
yeah. I think so.
I
Yeah.
was sidetracked. I don't know what the hell went on. Um, I like Weekend Update. I like some of the skits, man. Most weeks, most times, you can count on these skits. Like you sit there and you watch them and think, oh, I see. Yeah, it's supposed. Oh, God. Okay, yeah, yeah. Wow. But it used to be. I mean, you would sit there and you couldn't help but laughing. There was one host in the last month or two. Maybe it was a while back, but he was a comedian by trade. He was a comedian, and he did a show. He hosted a
Oh,
show.
is that Nate Barholtz or something?
Yeah, and he did he did a Revolutionary War skit that
Oh
was
yeah, yeah,
funny
yeah. I
as
remember that.
hell.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean and that whole show, I thought he was that. I laughed at that. I laughed at that. You know what else I laughed at, Sean, is a movie that I must not. I know I didn't see it when it was out, but sometimes you go back and you look at old movies like from the '90s or whatever. I saw this movie called Cop Out, and it was 1997. But it was Tracy Morgan and Bruce Willis, who right now is struggling with dementia. I'm sorry to say, but in 1997 he was still, out and about. So Bruce Willis and Tracy Morgan, I'm telling you, that movie, I laughed my ass off so many times in that movie. It wasn't funny. But back to SNL. I laughed that night that comedian was on. I thought a lot of those skits were well done and funny. And I watch the show now. Now I know I'm not going to laugh as hard as I used to, but I just watch it because it's live entertainment. And then there's a musical guest. And it's part of Saturday night.
It's cool.
Almost.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's part of Saturday night. That's all.
It's like, would you rather? I'm the type of guy who, like, would I rather be out at the bar drinking and like hanging out with some buddies there and stuff? Yeah, that's cool once in a while. But my normal go-to routine type of thing is settling in on a Saturday night,
Sure.
waiting till 11:30 and watching SNL literally live.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've had many, 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 many Friday and Saturday nights out and doing all those things and this and that. So it's not, and even at your age, you've had many, many, many Friday nights out. And you know what? It's Saturday's a nice, actually cozy time to just nestle in and so forth. Friday is if you want to get a little out there and get a little stupid. But
Yeah. You know what I was thinking, dude? Because this came up a couple weeks ago. Remember Jim Abbott, the guy? Didn't he win a Cy Young? He had one arm.
Yeah, he was incredible.
We never talked about him on the show, but I just had to take. There was a gentleman who had one arm who won a Cy Young in Major League Baseball. That's like,
and that's like I was telling you. I saw one Joker playing a guitar with his feet, and I kiddingly call him Joker. He's a beautiful person and with the will of a lion, but this guy had no arms and he's playing guitar with his feet. I mean, when you see stuff like that, it's amazing, but it really is. So,
okay. So you had some, first I want to say, I think Shohei Ohtani apparently is signing with the Blue Jays. That's the rumor. So he's going to be no longer on the Angels. He's going to be playing in Toronto. So that's big news. And the Yankees also got a really good new player, Juan Soto. They traded for him. He was on the Padres, but he's only 25 years old. He was viewed as a phenom even in his teens.
Yeah, he's a hell of a ball player, especially in that ballpark.
He's a left-handed bat, and left-handers do well in Yankee Stadium because that's short right field porch. So Juan Soto, that's exciting. And yeah, man. Somebody said a lot of free agents don't. Cameron Maybin, former Yankee, said a lot of free agents don't want to play for the Yankees because they're not allowed to have facial hair. That detracts certain free agents from playing there because they don't let them grow beards and stuff. So I don't know if you have an opinion on that.
I knew that Tommy Lasorda used to have that with the
Yankees. The Yankees.
No. I'm saying I know that. I'm trying to draw the comparison. I know that Tommy Lasorda eventually, I think, lifted that. I don't know why the Yankees didn't. I wasn't aware the Yankees still had it. I know they had it as well. Well, if they had it, then how do you explain Goose Gossage?
No, I think you're allowed to have some sort of mustache.
Okay, because you said facial hair.
Yeah, but I've seen some guys with mustaches, not like huge mustaches, but
hey, Goose Gossage had a big old hanging handlebar mustache. Well, anyway,
everyone else,
I don't think it's right. I think guys should be able to grow whatever they want as long as they, they're. All
right. So what lyrics you got for me?
Oh, sure. The lyrics I have. Okay. And when your tears subside and shadows still remain. Oh, yeah. I know that you can love me when there's no one left to blame. So never mind the darkness. We still can find a way because nothing lasts forever, even cold November rain. That's one of my favorite songs of all times. It's November Rain, 1992. Guns N' Roses is the band, written by the lead singer, Axl Rose. The album was Use Your Illusion 1.
Do you think Slash is one of the best guitar players ever?
I think he's a damn good one, man. I don't know, but I'm going to be talking about him in a second after I talk about this.
You made the joke. I was cracking up. We were talking about the show. You made that joke, but man, yeah, now we can just do the lyrics without actually, saying like what fucking preschool Axl Rose went to. Like, we used to go way into detail on like the actors and stuff and their lives. And it's like
Right.
let's just lay off that stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I'm not going to get too deep, but I do want to say a couple things about the song. It went to number 3 on the Billboard Top 100 list. It went to number 3 on that, the Billboard list. It was at that time the longest song ever to make that top 10 U.S. Billboard. It was 8 minutes and 57 seconds, almost 9 minutes.
Yeah, that song.
It
That
it
song
it
literally
held
gives me.
that designation, Sean. It held that designation of being the longest song ever to crack that list until 2021 when Taylor Swift. I don't even know the song. I think it says it's called All Together. So apparently Taylor Swift had a song called All Together in 2021 that was longer than this one in length. But that's a long time. That's almost 30 years that song has held that designation as being the longest song to ever top that, right? But I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You want to say something?
Oh yeah,
Yes, sir.
that song gives me chills, man. It's a great song. It's so eerie and kind of because I didn't live in that time period, but it makes me kind of sad in the
Well,
sense that I didn't live in that time period, but I get kind of like it's like a weird nostalgic, depressed type of weird. But it's a pleasant song, but you have to be in the right mood for that shit, man.
that's exactly right. You have to be in the right mood for it, but think about it. Some of the best movies, some of the best works of art, some of the best songs in the world and pieces of music are somewhat on from a sad, but yeah. The band said, get this, Sean. I didn't notice till I was just read up a little bit on it quickly today, just because if I'm doing. The band said, and I didn't notice. Axel and Slash said that the song was influenced heavily by Elton John's Funeral for a Friend and Love Lies Bleeding. And I had no idea, but I thought, me with that song, that, Funeral for a Friend and Love Lies Bleeding, me with that song, that's like one of the top. Like, it's unbelievable what that song, means to me and how much I
Yeah.
admire it.
I'm watching the
So
Knicks Celtics game right now, man. The Knicks are losing
mhm.
by 11, but I just want to quickly make a comment. Dante DiVincenzo made his first start tonight, and he's making me proud, man. I knew he was good if he just could stay healthy and get a chance, but I didn't realize how damn good he would be for the Knicks, man. Like tonight, he's out. Tonight he's played 15 minutes, six, just modest numbers so far tonight. 6 points, 2 rebounds, but the other night he had seven 3-pointers. I think he fits in the team really well. So they have, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, and Ryan. They have 4 guys from Villanova, Ryan Archer-Diacono. So, a quick comment on that. I think the Sixers are doing well. Maxi's only getting better, so I'm sure you're happy about that.
Right. So, and basically what I was saying about the song and the lyrics is
Yeah.
the rock video is awesome. People should check that out. If you haven't seen November Rain, check
Yeah,
it out.
check
The
it out.
video is really, really good. And,
You were just on the same train of thought, man. You were not.
well, I was trying to until you went off on some kind of D'Angelo fucking tangent or some shit. I don't know what that was. I'm still trying to figure that out. But Slash plays in front of this church in the middle in this video. There's this church, like you're out in the desert, like you can see for miles. There's nothing and there's a little white box that you see. And that little white box is a church. It's maybe 20, maybe 30 feet square. And Axel or Slash is out in front of it playing the guitar in that part when they really wail. But it's a great song, a great video, and it's even was inspired by a short story, and the short story was by Del James, and it was called Without You. So with regard to that, now you could talk all the well, actually, no, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about one quick thing before we go. One quick thing before we go.
Well, I wanted to say real quick. I know we talked about the Stern Show, but quickly, a very important longtime listener, fan, and good friend of Howard, Ralph Sorella, suddenly died at the age of 58. I think he was 58. But it was sudden. He had lymphoma, which is a curable disease, but unfortunately, he had surgery and something happened and his heart gave out or something. But so that's sad. He's a big part of the show. He's a really funny, opinionated guy. He's kind of could be a dickhead sometimes, but anyway, it's a rest in peace to him. He's important in the Stern universe. And Joe, I want a prediction for the Eagles Cowboys game.
That's what I was going to say. One thing before we go. So you beat me to the punch. I'm going to say, and look, I don't know. I got to think there's going to be some points scored here. And I'm going to say 34-28 Eagles.
34-28 Eagles. Okay.
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna go. Let's see. The over under. This is what I kind of look at sometimes. I use so much data sometimes and overthink things and get like too analytical. That's why gambling I'm not always the best because
Okay.
I'll
What's
get
your
caught
score,
up.
Shawnee?
Hold on. Dude, it's a Friday night, man. We're just chilling. Remember we started the
I
show.
know. I'm
We
doing
started
it
the
just,
show.
I'm needling you for the show.
Yeah, we started the show early, man. So we would have been starting around 9:15. So we're basically done at this point. But anyway,
Right.
the over under is 51.5 points.
Gotcha.
Eagles are underdogs by 3.5 points. The Cowboys are at home. I'm gonna say Eagles. See, they haven't been playing well offensively recently, but they're going to be in Texas. They're going to be on the turf. There's going to be no weather conditions.
I expect
They
them to
have, they
come
have,
back fighting.
yeah. I say they. No, we have
Yes.
Dallas. We have Dallas Goddard coming back.
Yep.
So Dallas Goddard is a big threat. So
He's
that
a
you add
beast.
Dallas Goddard to that offense, and hopefully the receivers. Devonta Smith has been picking it up lately. So I just don't see us losing this game, and I can see Dak Prescott throwing at least one bad interception. So I'm going to say Eagles. Did I say? I'm going to say Eagles 38-24.
And what did I say? I said 34-28. Okay. All right.
Yeah, you think they're going to win by 6? I think they're going to win by at least 14. But I don't know. That it sounds like if I was a betting man, I thought, well, he thinks they're going to win by 14. This is not financial advice. They're underdogs by 3.5 points. You're getting the points. Um, so I'm basically saying they're negative 14 or negative 13. I'm switching it big time. So
All right.
it would be funny to see what the hell the odds are because you could do alternative spreads if you messed around and put like change the Eagles plus 3.5 to Eagles negative 14. You might be able to get like
Yeah, Shawnee, that's for the average listener here. We're not going to, you're running off at the numbers, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know.
Anyway, so Joe,
We're both picking the Eagles to win.
Eagles will win, but we're also Eagles fans.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. We'll see what the hell happens, man. But see what the fuck goes on, man.
Uh, I was, that's funny because you always laugh at me because I have a habit of saying, "See what the fuck happens." I don't know. That's funny. It was just funny.
Or anything before we go, because we don't know. We could be back, in a day. We could be back in a week. We could be back in a month. Who knows? But
Could be 6 days. Could be 6 weeks. Who knows?
do you have any other final topics that you want to touch on that you since
Oh, my final words. Yeah.
yeah.
When my time on earth is gone and my activities are past, I want them to bury me face down so all my critics can kiss my ass. Good night.
Take care, everyone. Remember, we're on the Apple Store or the Apple Podcasts, the app, and we're on Spotify and we're on social media. We're probably going to create a. Oh, Joe, we have to quickly talk about this. Are we changing this? Should we announce the name
Next
change?
week. Next week. I already signed out for tonight. Next week we'll talk about it. Thanks, Shawnee. Good
Have a
night.
good night, everyone. Take care.